What's good? What's good? What's good, y'all? Gonna be real quick and just really highlight the people that made money off of, I think, day one of the NFL Scouting Combine. Now, doing this now because I won't have an opportunity to do it before day two jumps off. So I got a list here, and I'm gonna go through the list of guys that made some money yesterday. What up, Jose? And frankly, based off their on-field agility drills, maybe their 40 time or what they did with the broad and vert, I think these guys really improved their stock of yesterday. So I'm gonna go through it and see, let you know who impressed me yesterday. And I watched it fairly good yesterday. Not very many interruptions. I was in there taking notes and writing things down, and some guys that really jumped out. And every time I saw them, I was like, who is this dude? And some guys that I probably weren't going to look at, that I'm going to look at, and go for it. And actually, Ty say he's been waiting for this. You're actually the inspiration, Ty, because I didn't have plans on doing this, but after seeing your message, you were the inspiration to do this. So that's why we're here. So if you appreciate this, hit the like button, and also thank Ty because he's the reason that I'm doing this. I didn't have plans on doing it at all, but kind of glad I did. So we're going to start with the linebackers. And not a lot of those guys impressed me much at all. But the first one is Buchanan.
It's a respect thing.
So appreciate you. Appreciate the truth. Appreciate you. I'll get to that in a minute. Talking about Shamar. But Buchanan from California. He's 6'2", 233. He ran a 4.6 40 and had a 40-inch vertical jump. That and the way he was running around and moving in the drills also kind of had me like, who is this dude? Not that we need a linebacker, but he really just stood out to me, wanting to know, because I didn't plan on looking at no linebackers. But after yesterday, the three guys I'm finna tell you about, I'm definitely gonna go look at them and potentially put out a video on them if I can get around YouTube, whatever they be doing with us video. He is not. The second guy, Jahad Campbell. Now I will tell you this: we may or may not be interrupted because you can tell where I'm at. So if we get interrupted by all call, it is what it is. Second guy, Jahad Campbell, 6'2", 235, ran a 4.52 from Alabama. He by far is the name that everybody's talking about a lot. So again, like I said, I wasn't going to look at any linebackers, but I'm definitely going to look at Teddy and Jahad from Alabama. Jahad also went down and did some drills off the edge too. So the more you can do, the more or the better you are for the NFL, which is crazy. Next up at the linebacker position is a guy that I really had my eye on anyway, and he ran, the same 40 time that Jahad Campbell ran, is Danny Stutzman out of Oklahoma. He's 6'3", 233, ran a 4.52 as well, and he had a 34-inch vertical. That's another name to keep an eye out on, because especially if Trenton don't pan out to be what we think he gonna be. Later round guy Stutzman we can get and put in that rotation and maybe even push Trenton to be better. Maybe even push him to be better. So those are the linebackers. All right, defensive line. There was so many of them. Let me see. I got defensive line, edge, defensive tackle. All right, we go defensive lineman. I don't know why they got them separated from defensive tackle. First guy on my list, Darius Alexander from Toledo. 6'4", 305, ran a 4.95. And anytime those big guys get under 5, I love it. I love it. Appreciate you, Phantom. Appreciate it. And he had a 31.5-inch vertical. So Darius from Toledo, small school. I ain't gonna say a small school, but not a big-time guy. Not a big school guy, rather, but has really, really good tape. Been watching his tape recently, so to see what I saw in his film, and then to see him go on TV and do what he did in the drills yesterday, really kind of backing up some of the stuff I saw on film. And so the next step for me is to go back and watch. I think he was at the Senior Bowl too. To go back and watch the Senior Bowl stuff too before. So I'll go ahead and tell you he's one of the names that we're gonna talk about on Draft Junkies this coming week. Another guy that's also gonna be talked about too, that I really was kind of high on, and his drills made it even better for me. And these are guys I think we can get to. Joshua Foreman. I'm not gonna talk about the guys that are way up there as much. But Josh Foreman is a guy I think that we can put in that room with Matabike and Travis Jones, and he could be a second or third rounder and can eat. And again, I'm still blinded by what the Eagles did with their defensive line. So I'm gonna keep throwing out interior defensive line guys, and until I'm blue in the face, until something else happens. Because what they did to the Chiefs with their defensive line is absolute nuts. So I'm still blinded by that at the moment, especially if we re-sign Ronnie. If we re-sign Ronnie, a lot of stuff changes. So now we're gonna go to edge rushers. I got 5 guys on this list that real quick I'm gonna go through. Landon Jackson, the guy from Arkansas with the 40.5-inch vertical, over 260 pounds. That hasn't been done a lot. It was done twice yesterday. So he made some money. He went from in my eyes, a no name to a guy that I really want to go look at his tape and see if his explosion at the combine matches up with film. Because a lot of times you can be a workout warrior and not do jack, you know what, on tape. The other guy that everybody's talking about that I think we have no chance in hell of getting is Shamar Stewart. Shamar is absolutely, he's a freak. He's the other guy that jumped 40-inch vertical, weighing more than 260. He's 267 and 6'5". Landon's 266, Shamar's 6'5". Both of them right around 265. 40 times not bad. Shamar's 4'5'9", Landon's 4'6'8". But Shamar is an athletic freak. Just don't have the production, which reminds you of somebody that we may know. David said, what's Ronnie looking for at the moment? We are giving him, Ronnie's probably be right around 20. Somewhere in 20 to 22. From 18 to 22. That's what Ronnie's contract going to be. Another guy that I think got super paid yesterday, James Pierce. James Pierce Jr. was probably the smoothest looking athlete I saw yesterday. Ran the 40 in the hoodie, 4.47. Drill wise, looked the smoothest. Pierce blew my mind yesterday, and I knew he was a guy, but yesterday kind of confirmed it. And so when we go back in our edge group with draft junkies, Pierce may be a guy that I try to put on tape and go do a deeper dive into it yesterday. See, I told you we was gonna get interrupted.
May I have your attention? Don Freeman, report to the attendance office. Don Freeman, report to the attendance office.
It's Friday. Kids go home on Fridays, so I knew we was gonna get interrupted. But next up is the Diggs kid from Syracuse, and what jumped out to me was just his 40, and him being an edge guy. He can be an outside linebacker dude that can do some drop stuff for you in a 3-4 offensive scheme, and his agility, his quickness. I don't think he's much of a pass rusher, but as far as doing everything else, and he probably can get better at pass rush because he's 6'4", 257. But Dio Diggs from Syracuse, I was really impressed with him. And the last edge rusher I got on this paper is Sorrell from Texas. Sorrell looked like a huge muscle, but he also showed the ability to move around. Ran a 4.68 at 6'3" and 256. So that's another guy that can get on the edge and do some things that really impressed me with his numbers yesterday. Defensive tackles. Now, the list of defensive tackles was small, but I got the most highlighted names on this paper. Defensive tackles. Most out of all these groups. First, I'm going to start with Ty Robinson. 6'6", 310, 4'8", 340. Now, when he ran the 40 in that first position drill, I felt he was robotic. But then after seeing the other drills, I was like, no, it's something there. It's something there with Ty. So I'm really going to go back and look at his tape at Nebraska and see because it's something about him that really got me interested into how I think he's one of the guys that impacted the game without stats. And a lot of defensive tackles going to be like that too, but I definitely think he's one of the guys that the other team focused on, and he couldn't really get off because of doubles or whatnot, and he impacted the game and let other people eat. Next up, and every time this guy, I don't know what his stats look like, I don't know how good he is, but just seeing him on the screen yesterday, I was impressed with his body, and I just mean his body. Nazir Stackhouse. He looked completely different from every other defensive tackle out there. Not a lot of fat, muscles everywhere, moved okay. His 40 time was 5'1", but as a defensive tackle, it ain't got to be great, but his body just looked completely different from everybody up there. Completely different. Like shoulders, arms, thighs, calves. He looked like somebody that I would love to have in front of me if I was a linebacker. because he going to command the double team. But I ain't seen it on tape. I haven't watched the series on tape yet, so I'm going to have to go back and check it out. But just at that combine yesterday, he had my eyes wide open. Next up, Aeneas Peoples. The explosion, kind of short, but the explosion and the numbers kind of back up what I'm seeing on tape. CJ West, a guy that I didn't know about. He had a good day yesterday. Looked real good at 6'2", 317 from Indiana. Ran under a 5.40. And a lot of these big guys, if you run under a 5, that you're moving. You're moving. Because this is at 317, he ran under 5. JJ Pegues. Again, I talked about, if you're from Mississippi or anywhere close to Mississippi, you know that Pegues' name holds a lot of weight. What really impressed me was what he did after the TV version of him doing his defensive tackle drills were. He went and did some fullback stuff. And he looked so fluid catching the ball, running routes out the backfield, doing little agility stuff that fullbacks would do. If defensive line don't work out for him, he definitely can transfer over and be like a Pat Ricard and be a fullback. He looked extremely fluid. And I don't know if you know it, but he played some Wildcat quarterback at Ole Miss too. So Pegues is a guy that really opened my eyes yesterday too as well. Derek Horman came in and did what I expected him to do. 6'5", 310, ran under a 5, moved very well, showed some power, showed some quickness. And the last guy on my list.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention? Tajman Stevens, report to the attendance office. Tajman Stevens, report to the attendance office.
All right, and the last guy on my list that really stood out, another Georgia guy, Tyron Ingram Dawkins, 6'5", 280, ran a 4.86. And at this point, I'm just like, bring me the Georgia guys. Because I don't know what they cooking, what they serving them down there, what they putting in their food, what kind of workouts they doing. It's bring me the Georgia guys. It worked for Philly. It can work for us. Because the Bama guys ain't doing it like they used to, Ozzie. Bring me the Georgia guys. Whoever they work out, people is, and whoever they
Respect. It's a respect thing.
Appreciate the two from Rave Kingdom. He says, can't wait to draft and trade Mark Andrews. I appreciate you, Ray. But yeah, these are all the guys that stood out to me yesterday. So if you get a chance, once I log off, to log into your YouTube or even go back and watch it, because the new workouts don't come on till 3 today. I'm going to run back through the list of names. As far as edge rushers, it's Landon Jackson from Arkansas, Shamar Stewart, Texas A&M, James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee, Fadil Diggs, Syracuse, Barron Sawyer from Texas, defensive lineman Darius Alexander from Toledo, Josh Former from Florida State, the linebackers Teddy Buchanan from California, Jahad Campbell from Alabama, Danny Stutzman, Oklahoma, and then the defensive tackle, which is most of the guys I highlighted, Ty Robinson, Nebraska, Nazir Stackhouse, Georgia, Aeneas Peoples, Virginia Tech, CJ West, Indiana, JJ Pegues, Ole Miss, Derek Harmon, Oregon, and then Tyron Ingram Dawkins from Georgia. So I appreciate you guys, man. I just wanted to come to you on my lunch break and let you know who stood out to me yesterday. And again, thank you, TY, for inspiring me to even set this up real quick and put this out there. So I appreciate you guys for coming out. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and share, and share, and share. And I appreciate the 2 donations I got. Let me see if I see them real quick before I get out of here. I want to say thank you. $2 from Rave Kingdom and $5 from The Truth. He said it wasn't big on Shamar, but man, athletic. Exactly. Shamar is an athletic freak. And again, appreciate you guys, man. I'll see y'all soon, man. Enjoy the day, and we'll come back tomorrow morning with a recap of day 2 from the crib. Peace, y'all.